Have you ever watched the numbers tick up on a gas pump and wondered who actually decides that final amount? It fluctuates from week to week, sometimes day to day, with a rhythm that can feel entirely chaotic. Take a pound of coffee. In 1993, the global price hovered right around 50 cents. By 1995, it shot up to $2. Over the next decade, it crashed back down by half, only to spike past $2 again by 2011. When we see these wild swings, it's easy to assume someone behind a desk is simply pulling levers, driving up costs out of corporate greed, or that the market is just operating on random chance. But in 1890, the economist Alfred Marshall offered a different explanation. He described prices like a pair of scissors. You can't say whether the upper blade or the lower blade cuts a piece of paper. The cut happens exactly where the two blades cross. In economics, those blades are supply and demand. Every price tag functions as a living barometer, constantly pushed and pulled by human behavior and natural events across the globe. To see how those blades physically move, we can look at Brazil in 1994. The country is home to massive coffee plantations, producing a huge chunk of the world's beans. That year, an unexpected, severe frost hit the region. The cold destroyed the crops right on the branch, physically wiping out a massive portion of the world's total coffee supply almost overnight. This chart shows exactly how that translates to the market. The upward sloping line is our supply. When the frost wiped out the beans, it reduced the amount of coffee available at any given price. We chart that physical reality as a shift of the entire supply curve to the left, from S0 to S1. Notice the order of operations here. Higher prices didn't cause the supply to shrink. The frost shifted the supply curve, which pushed the crossing point up along the demand line to a brand new price at E1. Look at that steep downward line representing consumer demand. People are fiercely protective of their morning caffeine. Even when there's less coffee and the price spikes, people keep buying it. Economists call this inelastic demand, a situation where consumers are highly unresponsive to price changes. A few years later, in the late 90s, the exact opposite scenario played out. Vietnam rapidly scaled up its agricultural sector and entered the global market as a massive new producer. That sudden flood of new beans shifted the global supply curve far to the right, sending the price crashing down. The 50 cents or $2 you pay for a cup of coffee is the direct mathematical result of agricultural booms in Asia or freezing temperatures in South America. We can scale this up to the commodity that powers the global economy, oil. In 1973, the market experienced a shock that tested both blades of the scissors. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, restricted oil exports to the United States. This abruptly pulled the global supply curve to the left, creating immediate shortages and sending gas prices soaring. For a while, drivers absorbed the cost, but eventually, the prolonged pain at the pump forced a change in human behavior. Americans started trading in their heavy muscle cars for smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles. Because those new cars needed fewer gallons to get to work, the total need for gasoline dropped. This pulled the demand curve to the left, slowly easing the price down over time. In reality, markets rarely wait for one event to finish before another begins. Both blades are moving at the exact same time. Supply shifts as well as dry up or new fields are discovered, while demand shifts as technologies improve or commuting habits change. When multiple global factors collide, the resulting price acts as a strict signal, actively forcing entire societies to adapt their daily habits. We can apply this exact framework to the most abstract macroeconomic market of all, the price of money itself. In the foreign exchange market, currencies are bought and sold just like coffee or oil. Take the United Kingdom in June 2016, the morning after the country voted to leave the European Union. International investors watched the results and immediately projected that the UK economy would struggle independently. In response, they decided to offload their British currency. Investors flooded the market with existing pounds, pushing the supply curve right. Simultaneously, demand for new pounds dried up, dragging the demand curve left. Because both blades lowered value, the effect compounded. The British pound plummeted from $1.50 to $1.37. The supply and demand model functions as a decentralized organizer for human society. balancing available resources against collective desires across billions of daily transactions. Every time you look at a price tag, you are seeing a perfect localized translation of global droughts, technological breakthroughs, and human psychology, distilled into a single undeniable number.